The Arizona Cardinals came away with 12 draft picks in the 2024 NFL Draft, including Marvin Harrison Jr. Ever heard of him? We're going to hand out Cardinals draft grades here today. Really appreciate y'all tuning in. I'm your host, Jordan Lugo. This is Rogue Football. So the Arizona Cardinals, like I mentioned, they got 12 draft picks. Quite a haul. At number 4 overall, they sat there and they picked, instead of trading down, they landed Marvin Harrison Jr., who for my money was the best prospect in this class. That is an A+. They very easily could have been tempted to trade down to get more draft capital, future draft capital, whatever it may be. But sticking and picking and landing Marvin Harrison Jr., who is a blue chip prospect, who is someone that I think could very quickly become the next Arizona Cardinals legendary receiver, is brilliant. He's got the size, the athleticism, the route running ability, the body control, ability to go up and get 50-50 balls, can run past you. I just think that Marvin Harrison Jr. has got it all as a receiver prospect. Obviously comes from NFL draft pedigree, right? With his family, his dad being one of the best receivers we've seen as a route runner ever. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. has even more potential. He is going to be a stud for Kyler Murray. He is a wide receiver 1. I love that pick for the Arizona Cardinals. At 27 overall, they take defensive lineman Darius Robinson. You can list him at defensive end. You can also kick him inside to rush the passer against interior linemen. For me, this is a B-. I think that Darius Robinson probably should have been more like an early to mid second round pick. But overall, I don't have a big problem with it because this is a guy that I valued. I think that his skill set, when you talk about his strength and his length and the way he's able to weaponize his hands, use that spin move to get past tackles, and then, of course, use his quickness and athleticism to get past interior offensive linemen, I think he's going to end up being a versatile, good run defender who can also make an impact as a pass rusher for you. So not a big reach there, a little bit of a reach for Darius Robinson, but I don't think it's going to end up being like something you look back at and you're really disappointed about, because, again, I do think he's going to have a positive net impact against the run and the pass. Then at 43, after a trade down that landed you a third round pick, love that trade down. Great process by Monty Osenfort there. You still land Max Melton. I think cornerback was probably your biggest need at this point. Max Melton comes in. I think that when you align with need and value of the prospect, that's when you get an A. Max Melton is an A for me, especially including that trade down. Melton has length. He has ball skills. He's got great athleticism. He has inside-outside versatility. I think he'll play outside for the Cardinals, and a guy that brings it when it comes to the demeanor, the aggressiveness on the football field. I love that pick for the Cardinals. Definitely upgrades that secondary, and they did a lot of upgrading in the secondary through this 2024 NFL Draft, and also building out depth. Then at 66 overall, this is where it starts to get really interesting. You start to see a real footprint, a real direction for the Cardinals in this draft. Running back Trey Benson out of Florida State was my top runner in this class. That gets an A in the third round. This is a guy that has great long speed. Like, he was clocked at over 22 miles per hour with the ball in his hands multiple times throughout the 2023 season. And then you talk about the contact balance. He really grew as a runner when it comes to patience and vision over his time at FSU. And a guy that you pair him with James Conner as two really mean running backs, right? They're going to run you over and you are going to feel it the next day, right? And then at 71, continuing with this trend of kind of becoming powerful on the offensive side of the ball, you already have some big offensive linemen. Add Isaiah Adams to that mix, who has explosiveness, length. He has the frame, a guy that played some tackle at Illinois, but he's going to play guard at the next level, and just upgrades that interior of the offensive line. And also, again, adds to that nastiness that they're looking for. It's a B- because I think it's a little early for them, but because I see the vision, I'm here for it. And then another trade down to 82 overall, you land another Illinois Fighting Illini, tight end Tip Ryman, who blew the doors off the combine with his testing, but also this is a wide tight end. This is a guy that you're going to line up in line. He's going to block his ass off. So again, you're talking about that power running game. You're adding Trey Benson, Isaiah Adams, Tip Ryman, and I think that that's going to pay dividends for these Arizona Cardinals. They're going to be a tough team to stop on the ground. At 90 overall, cornerback Elijah Jones out of Boston College, just a tad bit early for me, so it's a C+, B- type of pick here. but a guy that I think when you're talking about continuing to build out cornerback depth, he has length, he has explosiveness. I think he's a little bit stiffer than you'd like, but I think that he has a chance to be a good starter. And, pairing him with Max Melton, who you drafted already, I'm absolutely fine with. And then at 104, safety Adrian Taylor-Demerson. This is just a value pick. I know that they already have Budda Baker. They've got some guys at safety they feel good about, but maybe not around forever when you talk about Budda Baker. Adrian Taylor-Demerson, I think, can play free safety at an extremely high level. Very good in coverage, very fast, instinctive. I think he's going to end up being a good starting safety in the NFL for a long time. Then at 138, you have edge Xavier Thomas out of Clemson, an older prospect, doesn't have like the greatest length in the world, but he has a nice pass rush skill set to continue developing. So I like this swing here on day 3 of the draft. At 162 overall, offensive tackle Christian Jones. I think that at worst, he's a good swing tackle, right? He's got the length, he's got the explosiveness. He's not really the most fluid from a lateral agility, mirroring movement standpoint, but a longtime starter at Texas at right tackle. I think at 162, getting him, that's an A-. I really like that pick overall. And then 191, wide receiver Tejon Palmer out of UAB. He is a speedster, a deep threat. He's got good size. I think that's a very good swing overall at 191. That's a B for me. And then cornerback Jaden Davis out of Miami, another guy who has good speed. He's been very, very productive throughout his career, talking about playing a lot of snaps at Oklahoma, then transferring to Miami. He's gotten his hands on the football, doesn't get a lot of interceptions, but he's solid in coverage. I think he's going to be a nickel for them at 5'10", about 182. So I like this class a lot. And I think that just the sheer volume is incredible. Numerically, it ended up being a B+ for me when I tally up all the grades here. But because I see this vision so clearly, and because they had 12 swings at the bat, I'm giving them a full-on A here. This is the second team to get an A. I think the Bears absolutely nailed the draft as well. But when you talk about creating that identity offensively where you're going to run a lot of jumbo sets, you're going to have Tip Ryman out there with your guy Trey McBride, 2 tight end sets. You're going to have Marvin Harrison out there on an island as well at receiver at X. I think that you're going to be able to run the ball really well. I think you're going to be able to do a lot of things off of that with Kyler Murray in this offense. And Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to massively upgrade your group of pass catchers. So 12 swings at the bat, you only need to hit on maybe 40% of them for this to end up being a great draft. And that's what a lot of good teams do. They draft a lot of players, a lot of prospects into that building, see which ones you hit on, and then continue to add draft capital, which I think Monty Osenfort has been doing at a very high level during his 2 years for the Arizona Cardinals there. Offensively, you want to punch your opponent in the mouth. You're going to be able to do that with this offensive line that you've put together over the last couple years. Tip Ryman at Y. James Conner and Trey Brinson are tough to tackle. You're going to get the play action going. Kyler Murray on the move. Going to find Marvin Harrison Jr. and Trey McBride and the other auxiliary weapons, right? I would like to maybe see them add another receiver, veteran receiver, maybe a Zay Jones, someone like that. But I think that you can see the vision here. Darius Robinson is also a tone setter on the defensive side of the ball. They got talent and depth in the secondary in a big way. I'm here for it. This team is still not complete, but the roster was pretty barren when this regime took over prior to the 2023 season. I think they've really set themselves up to have some long-term success here and continue to build out this roster throughout 2024. They're going to be feisty. They were a feisty team in 2023. Took some teams to the brink that did not expect it. They will be even more difficult to prepare for, more talented in 2024. And I think, again, they are building towards something that could be special in Arizona. If you're a Cardinals fan, would love to know what you think about this draft. Drop a comment in the comment section below. If you enjoy the content, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Y'all have a good one.